To prune or not to prune? That is the question. Answer: sometimes. Leave it alone or trim it back. This is Gardens Plus with Wilsie. I'm Wilsie. 40 plus years of gardening brings me here, sharing what I've learned with you. And today we prune. So let's get started. Okay, so here we have some spirea. They're very tall. See how tall they are? There's 4 of them there. And I'm going to be taking those down a little bit. I'm going to prune them down about, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 feet. You can see them. And then over here, I'm going to try not to make you dizzy. You see those shrubs right there next to the wheelbarrow? Those are wagalias. And they also can be pruned. Everything right now is dormant because it's been hit by frost. And I'm going to take those down as well. So we're going to prune that spirea, that tall one that I was showing you. He's taller than me. So we're going to take him down about 2 feet. Get up as high as I can reach. And I'm going to clip. Clip like just below, like the crook of a branch. Like right here. Make sure you've got good sharp pruners. See how much I'm taking off? It's a couple of feet. 1.5, 2 feet. You just reach up, pop it off. You don't have to be super careful because we're not looking for totally manicured shrubs. What we're looking for is a nice flow. So if you take it off the same amount all the way around, you're going to continue to get that shape, just smaller. It's going to come back in the spring. Not a big deal. Spireas are very resilient. It can reach way up. Once you get a few of them done, you're able to reach inside and get the taller ones. Just like that. See? Already it's down. It takes about, I don't know, for a shrub this size, maybe you're looking at 10 minutes. Not a lot of time, but well worth the effort. Okay, so here's the wagalia that we were talking about, and I'm going to prune it. Gloves. And here we go. Again, it is dormant, and I am going to take it down. This grows very fast as well. I'm going to take a whole section like this, and I'm just going to cut it like that. Toss it in the wheelbarrow, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around, taking approximately the same amount all the way around. Let's take a whole group of it. Even though this is a big shrub and it looks like it would take a long time to prune, it actually doesn't. We're talking about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. No, I'm not going to bore you with 10 minutes of shrubbery, but you can see really how it can go pretty quick. Just take it down pretty much the same amount all the way around, and when it comes back in the spring, it's going to be gorgeous. So as I mentioned, in the front of our house we have some spireas, and they all need a little bit of a prune. There's a big one right there. It's got some multicolored leaves on it right now, and then we have some smaller ones right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a couple of little ones. They all need a little bit of pruning. Not much, maybe 6 inches all the way around. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so here's the bigger one that I was talking about, but it's really not that big. Look, I'm not that tall. So you can see it comes up to about about my waist, not a little bit lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top, like right here, and I'm going to take off, oh, I don't know, about 6 inches of it, all the way around. I do have my wheelbarrow, so when I'm done, I'm going to pop it all in there. And what I do is I work down a side so that what I take off stays uniform all the way down, so that I keep the shape of the shrub, but I just take it down a little bit. So when you're pruning, the idea is not to prune it down to the ground. The idea is not to get rid of all the leaf or the dead buds that you see. The idea is just to trim it up. Give it a prune. It's pretty well dormant by now. You're not going to hurt it. It's going to come back in the spring. And there you have it. And I'm going to go around and do that with all of these shrubs. That's it. Now we're done pruning. In the spring, your bushes are really going to be happy about this. You're going to get lots of nice buds. You get lots of nice leaf. Nice shape, because you'll have shaped it now. So, if you're not really sure what you should cut back or what you shouldn't, you've got something that I didn't touch on here, because certainly I have not touched on every single plant that somebody could possibly have, then put your question in this video in the comments section and I'll answer it for you. So now I'm going to show you some shrubs that you don't want to do anything with during this time of the year. It's getting cold up here. It's the middle of November in upstate New York. Some shrubs just don't like to be touched right now. So here we have some barberries. See, they have berries on them, and that's all they have on them at this time of the year. All the leaf is gone. I'll show you, we have some here. And if I can do this without the sun reflecting on it, we have some right here. You see them? So in the spring and in the summer, they have really pretty leaves, green, reds, golds, some yellows, oranges. It's quite a mix, and they're very pretty. This time of the year, the berries are there, the birds eat the berries, so we leave them alone so the birds can have something to eat. We're not going to prune now. We'll prune in the spring. This is a rhododendron, and you'll notice that the rhododendron has a lot of buds on it. So we don't want to do anything to prune this either. We don't want to disturb the buds. These buds will hang in there all through the winter. And in the spring, it's going to bloom very nicely. This one has pretty pink flowers. And after the blooms are all done, if you decided you wanted to trim it back, you actually could without hurting it. But you really don't want to touch it this time of the year. Just let it be. We have another rhododendron up here. Same thing, buds. These buds set in the late summer, and they're going to continue to grow and grow all through the winter. Beyond the rhododendron is a mountain laurel. That's what this shrub is called. And if I get real close to it, you'll see that it has some buds starting. This mountain laurel will, same as the rhododendron, grow these buds all through the winter. You just want to let it alone. Don't do anything with it at this point. I also have hydrangeas, And for anybody who has ever tried to grow hydrangeas, you know that they can be a little temperamental. Mine are in a pretty protected area, but they do still get hit with frost, and they've been hit with frost. So they're not real pretty this time of year. I'm going to show you what they look like. We don't touch them this time of the year. I am a little concerned because we had a really hard frost here a couple of weeks ago, which of course died them off. They're dormant now. But then we got warm weather. So now they're starting to come out of their dormancy. That concerns me a little bit, but there's really not a whole lot I can do about it. So I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, and then I'll tend to them in the spring. So these are my hydrangeas. Not very pretty right now, as you can see. They're pretty well brown, gone, dead, but they're not really dead. They're just dormant. You see, I've got them running all the way across the fence. And I want to show you what I mean by starting to come out of dormancy. If you look, let me see if I can find one. This one is a really good example. Look at the tops. All along the top. You see that green? That shouldn't be there. They should be totally dormant by now, but it's been warm for a while. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Just gotta let them alone for now. In the late winter, I will be posting a video on how you go about pruning hydrangeas to get them ready for their blooming season. They are a little touchy. You do have to be a little concerned about how you prune them because you don't want to prune off the flowers that are going to come out on the wood. And that's a mistake that people make sometimes. But I'll address that in another video at the end of the winter. So one more shrub that I want to address, bush, I guess, plant if you want, is the rose bush. And if you watched my first video, you know that this time of the year, I don't do anything with them. The reason I don't is because I don't normally lose plants over the winter, but if I'm going to lose a plant, I could lose a rose. Because what happens in upstate New York sometimes, actually a lot of times, is that we'll get really cold weather, like I'm talking 0 degrees weather, and we don't have any snow on the ground yet. And if we don't have snow on the ground, there's no insulation for these roses. And they can tend to die. So what I do, because I really have too many roses to go around trying to cover them with burlap or something, is I leave them alone. I leave whatever leaf is on them. Any leaves that fall off of trees that come down around the roses, I leave that as well. And then at least they get a little bit of insulation just in case we get really, really cold weather and we don't have any snow to insulate them yet. So there you have it. I hope that I answered some of the to prune or not to prune dilemmas. If you still have questions, please enter them in the comments section. I will answer all questions. And if you like this video, and you want to see more of them, I am going to be doing one a week. Next week, we're going to talk about year-round color. Yes, even in the winter time. So, if you want to see more, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Till next time, happy gardening.